But please, can we just have a recap? Can anyone tell us, give us a recap of what we did yesterday before we start today? Hello?
You taught us how to use like operator.
You also taught us how to use the F percentage, the percentage where we introduce percentage to order our inputs.
Okay. What else did we learn, please?
Okay. The AND clause, the use of AND.
Combination, okay. The operators, not
the
causes.
Operators, sorry, the
yes,
operators.
what are the operators we learned yesterday?
Between that is used with AND as well. The between operator, the like operator that uses percentage signs when you are trying to find data that is similar to you want to find specific data according to a certain
okay, can someone tell me what the combination operators are? Combined operators are? Anybody?
We have an or.
Okay, are those the only two combined operators we have?
Not is also there.
Okay, not.
Not
so
equal.
What is the difference between not and not equal? Anybody?
Let me try.
You're
not
welcome.
is used in between sentence or trying to put with a variable character, but not equals goes well with numbers, values.
Okay, you tried. That's reasonably good. Any other person?
You also said that the between operator works best with numerical values or dates. And you can use it with AND operator.
No, I was asking what's the difference between the not operator and not equals to operator.
Okay.
Anybody? Okay. So, like I said yesterday, since nobody did answer, the not operator can work with a variety of, it's much more expansive because it can work with other operators. Okay, you can use not when you're as a combination with the in operator. The in operator is, remember what we said the in operator does, that you can use it to check for values, multiple values in a particular column. So you can say, for example, not in, and you select those values, and you get your results. And that it can also work with the null operator. Okay, it's a negating operator, but it has a it still has a level of flexibility more than the is not operator. The not operator stands alone. Once you bring it, you can't combine with others. That's basic difference. What about comparison operators? Can anyone tell us what comparison operators are?
That's the less than, greater than, equal to, greater than or equal to, not equal to
Okay.
signs, operators.
Okay, can you explain what those operators do?
Like if you want to find a value that is less than a certain value, like you want to find values that are less than 50, you can use in your data, your table, you can use the less than operator to search for values that are below that, for example, 50. Or if you want less than, greater than or equal to 50, then you use the greater than or equal to operator to get values that are equal to 50 or more than 50.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So can anyone in the comment section, I want someone to create a database. Just write a script to create a database for us, please. Just go to comment section and just write a script to create a database. Okay, plenty answers. Okay, plenty answers. Okay, all right. So let's start with today's class. I think we are long overdue on that. So, let's share screen. And share. So today's class we'll be talking on two basic things. Those are joins and how to alter your tables. And hopefully by the end of today's class, we'll be rounding up anything around SQL fundamentals. Will be done today. So let's start with joins. So in the beginning of this class, we spoke about the fact that SQL means structured query language, and that you use structured query language to work with relational databases. That means in that particular database, the tables you have there have relation with one another. So for example, we have a store, okay, an e-commerce platform, where we have a table that stores our customer profiles. So the customer ID, the customer's username, the email address, the person's residential address, phone numbers. We have a column that states that. We now have another column for our products. So we have product ID, we have the product name, probably the product price, You understand? Then we now have another one for sales, where you now see product ID, product price, quantity of sales. You have another table that talks about orders, where you have customer ID, number of orders the customer has, and if the orders has been shipped. Now we can see that all of these tables have different things about them that if you look at each of those tables, I'll show you an example of that, but let's listen to an explanation. So each of these tables have various characteristics that just merely looking at it might not give you the exact information you need, okay? But they all have something in common. There is somewhere you can link table A and table B, okay? Or table C and table E to actually get what you want. So one of the functionalities of MySQL or SQL is that you can join tables. You can create, you can join tables that have a relation. So that's why it's called a relational database model. You are creating a relationship within each of those tables based on the unique identities that they have that is similar. So I have here, let me close this. So let's start. Okay, so I have this database I named store. So let's open this customers table. We can see the customers table. We have the customer ID. We have the first name. We have the last name. We have the date of birth. We have the customer's phone number. We have the customer's address. We have the city. We have the state. We have the number of points that that customer has. Now, this is the customer profile table. Now, let's open the orders table, order items. We can see the order ID, the product ID, the quantity, and sales per unit price. Okay, that's unit price of the product. Okay, these are the ordered items. Order status. Now, this just tells us the order status ID and if the product is the status itself, that is, if it's delivered, shopped, or in process. Then we have the orders. Now, in this order table, we have the order ID. We have the customer ID. We have the order date. Okay. We have the status. That is the order status. Okay. We have if there's any comments. We have the shipping date and we have the shipping ID. Then we have the product table, where we have the product ID, the product's name, the quantity in stock, and the unit price. Then we have the shippers, shipping ID, and the company that ships it. So now, all these tables, let's from the customers table, okay? Here we just have the profile. So if we say we want to find out, for example, the first customer with customer ID 1, that's Barbara. We're trying to find out how many orders she has, okay? This table doesn't tell us that. But if we come to the orders table, okay, our ID is, Barbara's ID is number 1. So if you come to the orders table, we can search for, manually search for number 1, the customer ID number 1. We can see that the customer ID number 1 does not have any order, okay? Using this customer ID column, right? So imagine now we're able to do that manually because this table is just about 10 rows. But imagine if you have to look through data for maybe for like a year or 2, or even a very busy store that in a week they're having over 100,000 orders. You have to start looking for customer ID number 1, okay? Getting the person's customer ID and finding if the person actually has any orders, okay? So there's a simple way to do that, okay? And you can get your report. If your line manager says, okay, this particular, get me the orders, if anyone has any order ID. Now, customers we have this week. Let's see if we've had any orders at all. Some people don't, customers, because and you also understand that, especially when it comes to e-commerce, you can have a customer walking into your online platform and not buy anything. Person is still a customer. So, but when you want to know the number of orders you have and per customer, your customer table is not telling you anything about it, just telling you that, oh, this is also people who are the customers you've had. They've registered. Definitely, their profile is up. They registered, that's why you have their profile. Okay. But have they actually even placed any order? So how do you do that? You have a relationship. You can create a relationship within these two tables. So if we look at these two tables, we have customer ID here, and on the other table, we have customer ID. Okay, that's what they both have in common. That is their relationship. So you must infuse the relationship from the customer ID here with what you have in the customer ID here. Okay, and when we're talking about joins, we basically have three types of joins. We have the inner join. Most times it's just being represented by join. We have left join. We have right join. We have these three basic type of joins. Now, the inner join, basically what the inner join does, okay, hold on, let me see if I can get this whiteboard working. Oh, no whiteboard. Why? Hold on, please. I'm trying to see if I can make do demonstration. Oh no, this doesn't allow me to do that. Okay, sorry about that. So let me see if I can do it in my system paint. Where are you? Okay. Can everyone see my screen? Hello?
Yes, yes.
You all can see my screen. Okay.
I can see.
So basically, if our little mathematics back in secondary school days, I think we all had an idea of what sets are when you're talking about the union of a set, intersection, and all of that. So basically, if you have two sets, sorry for my wobbly circles, okay, set A and set B, okay, and you want to get the union of both of them, that is, you are bringing set A and set
The
B.
screen we can see is still that of the SQL workbench.
Okay, sorry about that. Let me do another share. Let me share this one. How about now? Can you see?
Yes, Sayne.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so let me start from the beginning. So set, okay, when you have two sets, set A and set B, and you are told to create a union within both of them, okay, you bring both of them together. Now the union basically states what they have in common, right? So this is what they have in common, whatever value is inside here. So if you are describing your inner join, that's basically what you're doing. You're bringing the two tables, okay, and you are filtering based on what they have in common, is what you're interested in. If you're not interested in what they don't have in common, you are bringing what both of them have in common together. That's what you want to see. So for example, I can come here and say, let's customer ID. First name. Sorry, first name, last name from and I say join, or let me just write inner join. Inner join. Okay, so basically this is how the script works. You are picking values from your first table that you're joining. That's our customers table. We're creating an inner join. Okay, we're writing inner join. Okay, others table. That is the table we're trying to get information from. On, you're saying on, you're now selecting the column that actually has the relationship, the unique identifier on both tables. Remember that on this table, okay, this others table has customer ID, okay, and the customers table also has the customer ID. So you are going to reference the table, okay, that you are picking from. Then you put a dot. They are now going to reference that column from that table. You now assign what table are you talking to? That is the others table, and you're talking to this column. So if you run this, okay, it's telling us that the customer, okay, that means maybe I didn't get the spelling. What's the spelling here? What's the second? Customer select or others. Let me run this here. Okay. DP are we talking to? Oh, sorry.
The others have it as ID, just ID.
No. I'm actually talking to the wrong database. That's why. Sorry about that. This is the database I'm supposed to be talking to. So if I run it now, I think we should have our answer. Customer ID. Why are you not giving me comment? Sorry about that. Just want to see this change. Yeah, so why don't you join it? In this column, fields, customer ID, which of the fields? Okay, sorry about that. Sorry, please. I'm getting too ahead of myself here. Okay, so remember that we're referencing the same. So one of the things you have to look out for is you have to, if the columns that you're working on have the same name. Okay, for example, now we have customer ID and we have customer ID here. On your select clause, you must reference the one you're talking about. The one you want to pick. Okay, so that's why I was flagging, telling me that the customer ID field is ambiguous. If you see the error it's giving me here. So what I was supposed to do here was to pick which of the customer IDs I want to use. Am I using the one on the customer table or the one on the orders table. So let's use the one on the customer table. Okay, customers dot customer ID. Okay, if we run this now, I think we should have our answer. So we can see what we have now. Okay, so this is our inner join. Now, basically what this is telling us now is that that's okay. So inner join has showed, it has brought out the intersect of everything we have. We can see that we can see the customers, the first name and the last name. Okay, I don't know why it's bringing them out in double, but I'll look into that. Okay, maybe okay, we have to check the table though to see how many times those guys have orders. Okay, that's why. Okay, so based on what we have here right now, what this has actually just done for us now is that that's told us every time these customers have an order. Okay, if you look at our orders table, we can see that the person with customer ID 2 ordered on this day and this day. Okay, the person's order has another ID of 4 and 7. So if we come here now, you see now, let's so that we'll understand better what we're trying to get. Let's add orders, order ID. Let's add the order ID. Okay, so we'll be able to see what the difference are better. So now we can see that the customer Ines has 2 orders. Okay, the person had an order, has an order of 7 on other ID of 4 and 7. This other person also has 2 orders. That's why they are in duplicates. Okay, but the people that have singles only have 1 orders. Okay, so basically what we just told mySQL is that we want to see. Okay, we don't know how many orders they have. Okay, but give us their name, the customer ID from the customer table. Okay, give us the person's first name, give us the person's last name. Okay, and also give us the person's order ID, so that we'll be able to trace the person's order, the customer ID and the order ID. So this could be as a result of you want to know your customers that have the highest number of orders. Okay, but all you have, the only table you have or you currently have access to at that time, or you've been looking at as being the orders table. Okay, you've been seeing this particular customer number 2, and the person keeps ordering, but you can't put a name to that number. Okay, you can create a join, an inner join. Okay, and that inner join will give you an intersect. That particular portion where they have relation, the person will give you that script will give you, and then you'll be able to pull out all the information that you need. You can extend this as much as you want. Okay, you can add other fields from the tables. You can add let's add the orders table. Let's add shipping date. Let's run the shipping date and see what it gives us. Okay, so we can see now it will give us the shipping date. Okay, so this is your inner join. You can add as much from each of those tables. It will give you what the 2 tables actually have in similar, that are similar. It will give you those 2 values. So that's all it is about inner joins. So now let's talk about left join.
I was just wondering whether you could give another example of the inner joint.
Okay, no problem. I'll do that. Okay, let me give another example. So let's look at another table. Okay, let's check our products table. Let's see. Okay, we have our products table. We have the product ID, we have the product name, we have the quantity in stock, and we have the unit price. And we have our other items table. Okay, now our other items table talks about the order ID, talks about the product ID, the product quantity, and the unit price. So let's assume we want to know what items, what our product that people are buying more. Okay, you have this other items table that shows the product ID and the quantity. Okay, and if you look at product number 3 here, the product with ID number 3, that's 10 of it has been bought. We have product with ID number 1, 10 of it has been bought. We have a product with ID number 9, 9 of it has been bought. So we have some that are actually heavy eaters. Okay, but you only have access. This is the table you have actually, they've come to meet it that, okay, we have these products, these other items table. Okay, we would like to know which of our products sells the most. Which one of them? We just have this table. Okay, there's definitely another table that has, they now show you this table also and says, this is the other table we have that shows the products. Okay, these are the products we have, but let's know which one. Let's have one unified table, one unified script that will give us the products that sell the most. At least we'll see them by name rather than by ID. Okay, so you can do something like this. Product ID, name. Okay, let's pick this two from products. From products. And you see, remember we said inner join can be represented in 2 ways, either a right join or a right inner join. So this is actually also the same thing. So you join other item okay. So let's pick some other columns from here. Let me check this column, sorry about that. I need to know the columns I'm working with here. Okay, so let's check quantity and other ID. Okay, so now this script is basically saying, give us the product ID from our first table, that's the product table. Give us the name of the item. What's the product order ID from our other items table? Okay. What else did we add? Okay, and give us the quantity also. Okay, so let's run this. So now, we can see that we have created a synergy within the two tables. Okay, now, remember that our other items table is going to pick, where's the other items table? Let me see it. Yeah. So we can see that other items table is going to create an order ID, okay, based on what each customer has actually ordered for. Okay, so you can see now that, for example, so one of the things about it is that you also have to understand what the data actually is talking about. Okay, so you can see that order ID here is 22222 for different items. So that's what it's going to do. It's going to create a synergy for you for that. So if you see a duplicate, you need to understand why those things are actually popping up. So you can see the order items. Okay, there is a particular person's cat, something around that. So basically, we can see that the quantity we have, this is the product ID for this, okay? And a particular customer has ordered this. A particular customer has ordered this, okay? Another customer ordered this particular product. Now we can see the quantity that they've ordered, okay? You can also see what they've ordered, this particular product also. We can see how it's been ordered, okay? So we have created a synergy within the two tables, okay? To show you, okay, how well has this particular product been doing, okay? Now, we can also play with it again and do something else. Sorry about that. And create another. Let me see, what does the others table have that we can join? It actually has customer ID. So let's bring customer ID to this.
Quick question: what does A dot E dot? What do they represent?
Yes, I've actually been waiting for someone to actually ask that.
Okay.
I've been waiting. I probably did it. I didn't explain it. Okay, that's very nice observation. So there's something in SQL I explained earlier with this script that you must reference. When I was doing the first inner join, I said you have to reference your tables. Okay, you have to reference the tables when you are doing your join so that SQL knows where you are pulling your data from, especially when you have tables with similar names or with columns that have similar names. If the column names are not similar, you won't have a problem. But if the column names are similar, you need to reference it when you're actually writing your script so that SQL will be able to differentiate where your data is coming from.
Okay.
So there's something called aliasing. That means what you are basically doing is you are renaming a particular column, okay, or a particular table on SQL. Why? One of the reasons why we do this. Hello, please.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay. Please kindly mute your speakers. So, because just to make things easier for you when you're scripting, it's not going to be so convenient every time that you have to come, you want to write a script or you want to reference that particular column of a particular table. You now start writing the table name, okay? And then you now start writing the column name. So here now I have to write customers dot this. But you can see I did this here, this time around, okay? So what you can do is you can create a sort of reference. You give it a new name, okay? That makes it easy for you, convenient for you to be able to reference it every time you need it. So what I did here was, you can see I wrote inner join orders table, okay, as B. Okay, I did the same for the customers table. I said,
Okay.
customers table from customers table as A. So now that means every time I want to reference this table in this script, I don't have to write customers. I don't have to go and write orders dot this. I just write A dot, and it gives me whatever columns that are actually on that table. Okay. So it maybe you assign a reference to either a column or a name or a table in a particular script. Every time you want to call that table or column in that script, just in that script that you have written, you must use that assigned reference, the new assigned reference. You can't name it customers. You've told it that you should take it as B, and then you come back and write orders table, orders. Okay, it will flag an error. Okay, so, and it's even best practice, because if I'm looking at your script and I see here you reference the same table as customers, then the same table again I reference as B, it becomes very confusing and it's going to be difficult for any other person to read it. But when I say that you are being consistent to what your references, it makes it even easier for anybody to read. More or less a computer that is just expecting garbage in, garbage out. So basically what I just did was I created references. So you can create it for columns, you can create it for tables. For example, this particular table here that is customer ID, I can reference it and say I want to name it just ID. So you can see here now it's being written as customer ID. If I run this script, you can see it has changed to ID. Does that answer your question?
It does. Thanks so much.
Yeah, so it's part of the snippets available. You can also create references. I'm going to do a whole lot of that today. I want to see how well everybody's following the class. So if there's anything I'm doing that you see that is different, ask me. I'm going to do a whole lot of that today. A whole lot of it. I'm purposely going to do it. Let me see how well everybody's following. So
okay, so in that query, okay, sorry, it was just an example, sorry.
Yeah, it's just an example. In just an example, I've just created a reference for you. Here now, I just changed the ID.
Yeah.
I changed this customer ID column. Yeah. Okay, I changed it to ID.
Okay.
So now it's now ID. If I remove it and leave it as what it was before, if you run it, it comes back to customer ID. So that's just it. You are just renaming the table. You are creating a new reference for it. So when you are doing joins, it's advisable you create short references so that you don't have to go and be calling the whole table. Especially when there are some databases that you go to and whoever designed it just feels like writing every word. So you have like maybe as much as 15 to 20 characters. It's that much at times. So imagine having to reference the whole of that 15 to 20 characters every time you want to talk about that table, when you can just create a short alias as small as A to represent the whole of that table. So then you just pick it up and just anytime you write A dot anything, you can access any column on that table. So that's just basically what I did.
Excuse me, sir.
Yep.
If I get you right, there is no special way to go about the referencing. You will have to include it in the scripting.
You have to include it in your scripting. Yeah, you remember the logic about systems is garbage in, garbage out. So it's whatever it is you feed it is going to give you.
Okay, just as you wrote it earlier. So
just as I've written it here.
Customer ID as A, and then it will change to.
It will change reference. It to yes. It will change it, and remember also that. So okay, let me come here back to this customer ID example. Okay. So if I say customer ID as 1, okay, let's see what happens. Can we see that? There's an error. Okay, so it's because it's expecting a string value. It's the name of your column. Okay, so it's expecting a string value. So you can't just, you have to know exactly how you are going to name it. Can you see the difference now?
Okay, the column comes in string.
Anything that has to do with text, words, okay, it has come. It's just like varchar. It's a varchar, okay. So it's a string. So it's expecting you to give it that feedback. So for example, maybe the column is supposed to actually be named as 1. Okay, it's not expecting you to give it a column name as a numeric value. It will give you an error.
To be character.
Yes, it has to
That
be
is in quotes, right?
Yes, it has to be in quotes. Okay, so you can rename any of them to your taste. Any of the columns to your taste. We can say, okay, the first name, we don't want this underscore. Would like to see it. Would like to see first name. Maybe even we want it to start in capital, in caps. Oh, sorry, I didn't put us. Can you see now?
So the should I say that the as is the function then?
Yes, the as is the function. It's the syntax that lets you. As is the syntax that lets you rename. That's basically all it does. So every time you see a script, SQL script on mySQL, and you see as, you know that whatever comes after it, okay, it's going to change. It's changing what the primary value was. It's going to change it. Okay, but this works in terms of renaming columns and tables. Okay, we'll get to where we are going to have to update values. When we get to where we're going to update values, you see something, another way to touch your tables. Okay, so are we clear on the inner join?
Yeah, one quick question concerning what you just said. Now, at the end of this query, you just said customer ID as maybe 1. So will it change in this, I don't know, this A dot, can it be A.1 or B dot, since it's an alias?
That's another good question. So now, you can only use the periods, that's the dots, when you're referencing columns on a table.
Okay.
Okay. If you are renaming a column, okay, you won't be able to do that. You're only just changing the name of the column.
Okay.
But if you are referencing a table, okay, and you created an alias for it, when you want to reference the columns on that table, that's when that works.
Okay.
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 So, and also, it's only when you're referencing tables that you can carry that value that you have changed it to.
That's true.
Okay, so for example, now I've done this, and let's say I want to find out, sorry. Sorry. Now I want to find out, I'm trying to figure out, okay, let's say the customer with ID of 10, okay? I can't reference it as 1 because it's just a temporary thing on that table. So if I say where, let's assume I say 1 is equals to 10. Sure. You can see it will give you an error. So when you're renaming columns, okay, it's just for that particular, particular script you are running. It doesn't do much editing in terms of follow-up lines.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So basically, that's just what it does. It doesn't, it won't actually alter. You can't carry it along, but if you are doing it for tables, you won't have a problem. You can reference, if your script is 100 lines and you reference your table at line 1, if you get to line 99 and you bring back that reference, it will see it because you have mentioned it before. The system keeps it, okay? And it will still, you'll still be able to reference it. Okay.
Thank you.
So, any other questions on inner join? Hello? Are we
Not
good?
for now. I'm good.
Okay,
for
none
now.
for now. All right. So let's talk about left joint. Oh, sorry. Okay. Let's talk about left joints. So basically, what left joints do is, let me bring back the screen. Can you see my screen? Can you see the illustration?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we're able to see it. It's okay.
Okay. So basically, this is what left join does. Sorry for the weird illustration. So basically, remember that we have an intersect here. Okay. Now, left join is taking everything from the left side of the table. You're adding values from the left. Okay. It's not going to take just the intersect. It's going to take other values in. Okay. So you are bringing in data from the left. Whatever it is that we can find on the left, kindly bring it. Okay. We'll take it. We're not just taking what we have in common, but if you can bring other things from the left, okay, no problem. So you are joining from the left. So basically, what changes here is that we say left. So if we run this, good. Now, can we all spot the difference within the inner join and the left join? Let me see if I can. I think I should be able to run the two of them simultaneously. No, it won't let me. All right, so it shows one result. That's the problem. Okay. Let me see if there's something I can do to make us see the two tables together. Okay. Let's see if we can run both of them together like this. I want it to be small. Oh, it didn't work as I wanted. Okay, yeah, it did. Okay, good. Now, this is our inner join. Okay, this is our inner join, and this is our outer join. So let's have a look at the inner join. Can we all see the table? Hello.
Yeah.
You can all see the table, right?
Yeah.
You can see all the figures on the table. You can see all the customer IDs on the table and all the other IDs.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this is our left join. What's different?
I think the shipped dates differs.
Ship date. What differs on the ship date? What differs in the ship date?
Sir, please, can you go back to the left joint, please?
This is the left join.
And sorry,
the
the other.
join.
Okay,
Okay,
the inner joint.
This is it. This is the table.
Joint. Okay, this is the inner joint. Down.
Then go to the.
Then go to the left joint. To me, I think is the ship date is different. How did I place?
The ship date is different. Is
Yeah,
it just the ship date?
there are more values in the left join.
Yeah, there are more values. That's good.
Okay.
there are more values. So basically what the left join does, okay, is that it's not just bringing you what they have in common, it's bringing you all the data that they have, but it's just bringing it, they are telling it, okay, bring this data, add it to the table from the left side, okay, or like bringing it in left. So you can remember that when we did the inner join, the customer with ID number 1 didn't have any orders. Can we all remember that? If we come here, you see customer with ID number 1. But because the person did not have any orders, there's a null value. Okay? So, and I think this person too, this customer with ID number 9 also wasn't there. So there are null values there. Okay? So that's it about the left join. Okay? The left join basically brings in data from the left. It takes everything, like just give it to me, don't worry. I would filter once this I can find this here, and I can find this here. I'll bring out all the properties. It brings in all the properties. Okay, and then you now start seeing the ones that you have that are similar and the ones that don't even have any values. So that's why you can see the nulls here. Okay, I think this ID number, customer ID number 3 and number 4 also. If you check here, I'm sure you see they're not also there. Okay, so it doesn't just bring just the intersect. It brings everything in the union, but pushing data from the left. Okay, do we understand that?
Yeah.
Quick
Are we
question.
okay? Huh?
Quick question.
No problem.
Yeah, I just wish to ask whether looking at the left join, we talked about bringing, so it adds up with the common, I don't know what to say, maybe common, what is common to relatively to the customer ID table, customers table, and the others table, so to say. Is it
Yes.
relative? And which
So
table should be
basically
on the
what
left?
it does.
Which table should probably be on the right, so that it will take the maybe the intersection and also everything that's in the left and add to it.
Okay, so it's just called the left join because you are literally bringing in data from the left.
Okay.
It doesn't matter how you arrange it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter how you arrange it. It's just creating an intersect. Okay, creating that union, that intercept, whatever it is it can find from this side, it brings it in. Okay.
Okay.
From that side, it brings it in. It doesn't just take the intersect, it brings in what it can find from that left side in.
All right.
Okay. That's just it. So just likewise, the next one we'll talk about, which is the right join. Okay. You are creating a join and telling it, okay, move to this side of the table. Okay. Whatever it is you can get from this side, bring it. Now, while these joins are actually useful is, so it depends on the type of data you're expecting. Okay. The type of results you want to pull. You're looking for what the two tables have in common only. Remember, when you're talking about sets, you're talking about, okay, it can even be as much as 3, but we're talking about a set that is working with 2 sets of data. Sorry. So now, if you create a union in between both of them, okay, that intersect, that's your inner join. You just want to see what both of them have in common. Okay. Now, if you're not looking, okay, B, let me bring my illustration back. Okay. So now we have A and B, right? So now we want to know what A and B have in common. That's when we talk about this particular spot here. But we want to know what A and B have in common in relation to just what B can offer. Okay, then you're talking about your left join. In relation to, you are bringing this is, you understand? In relation what this, so whatever it is you're bringing it from the left side. Okay, if you're talking about your right join, be taking all of this. What they both count to offer in relation to what this guy can bring. Okay, so it now depends on what data you're interested in. Okay, will now determine what kind of join you are going to bring. Are you going to bring a right join? Are you going to bring a left join? Even though if your tables are very, very similar, if you run a right join and a left join, you might end up getting the same answer. Okay, if your tables are very similar, you might end up getting the same answer if you run a right and a left join. So it's always just about knowing what you are looking for. Okay, because as a data analyst, your end goal is business requirement. What the business wants, you're able to solve that business need. So what do they want? It now determines where you're going to poke your script to do your join and get the data you want. Do you understand?
Okay.
So just like the left join, the right join does the same, but in an altered way. Let's see, it's running right now. Let's see, it's going to be a bit of difference, I think.
Oh,
hello.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had my hand up, but I didn't think you already recognized me. But I had this question. What is the industrial use really for left and right join? Sometimes like I really get confused with them because I know inner join most of the time like it's kind of used in the industry, but for right and left join, what are the circumstances in the industry like you really have to use them?
So like I mentioned earlier, it's all dependent on what you're interested in getting. Okay, so let me give you a typical example, which is, I think, what we actually even have here right now. Okay, this is our left join. So for example, now we want to know all our customers that we have on the site, on our on the e-commerce platform, and want to know their status. Have they ordered from us or not? Do you understand? We want to know whether we want to know the customers. We want to know whether they've purchased anything from our site. Yes or no. Do you understand? Now, this is a very good use of it. Your left join will give you that. Your left join will tell you, these are the customers that you have. Okay. Now we have this particular customer now. The person is a customer, but has not placed an order, at least for the time frame of this report. Okay. You have these persons too, that have not yet placed any orders, but they are customers. And you can also see these ones that actually have orders. Okay. So this can actually help you to say, okay, how do we reach out to these customers to place orders? Maybe they've actually even gotten to, so if you're familiar with e-commerce, you will talk about customer conversion. So they might actually even added something in their cart. Okay, but they've not checked it out. Okay, so you could go, this now would bring in further investigation that, okay, what is actually stopping this from ordering? Okay, maybe they've even tried, but there is issue with your payment gateway. Okay, you now do further investigations. Why has Barbara not shopped with us? Okay, why is this person having no orders? Okay, so that's an industrial use. Just likewise with the right join too. It's all dependent on what you are trying to achieve. Most times, yes, you are correct. Most people just use joins, and joins just gives you the synergy within the two tables. But you might want to expand further and see how well you are doing or how not well you are doing. A left join or a right join can actually help you, because they are not just looking for the intercept. They are looking for what those two tables have, okay, that are similar and also different. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, copy that. It does.
So let's do our right join. Yeah, like I said. So let me see. Let me run these three again. And let's see if we can get the differences or similarities in our scripts. Good. So this is the first one. This is the second one. This is the first one. Yeah. So this is our inner join. This is our left join. This is our right join. So I'll leave them on for like 30 seconds so that we'll look at it and then let's check the differences or similarities. Okay, let's start with this one. Okay. And finally, this. Okay, so let's have the differences stroke similarities that we noticed. Hello?
Hello? Hello. First thing that I noticed is that the inner join and the right join have common values.
Okay.
While the left join is different, it's quite different from the other two. And please, can you take it to the left join again?
Left join. Okay.
Okay. The inner join again. Okay. So overall, the inner join and the left join, they are the same, different from the inner join and the right join are the same, different from the left join, which has more values.
Okay.
For now,
any other person?
That's okay.
Any other person?
Okay, from my observation, it's as if the inner join constitutes everybody that's in the right join. Because everybody in the right join has an order ID. Similarly, it's an active customer. Then we have many more customers in the left join that don't have that have null ID. So relatively, the inner join and the right join, they might be the same. I'm not linked, but the left join, we have so many more customers or in the left join who have also don't have other ID. Perhaps that explains why the inner join, we have fewer members in the inner join.
Okay. That's good. That's good. So basically everybody's correct. you can see that the inner join, the right join and the inner join have similar data. So like I explained earlier, depending on the kind of data that you are pulling or the kind of data sets, you might end up getting similar results most times. Okay. And like the other person asked question was asking about the industry use. So this is part of the issues I myself have with joins. Okay. Because sometimes you run a right join and it gives you the same answer as a left join, and you're like, so why am I doing this? Okay. But then sometimes you run it and you find out that you are smooth sailing, you don't have any problem. There are even some cases where people tell you about, you hear something like full join and all of that, but basically it's either a right, left, or inner join. Okay. The outer joins, or you hear something like outer joins. Outer joins are either left or right. You are bringing in data from outside, not what is inside the intersection. So you can come up with this, but basically, you know that whether you're using inner, left, or right, you are supposed to answer a question. So most times, all I advise people is, if you try a left join and it's not giving you an answer, you can try an inner join, but you most likely get what you're looking for. Then if any of those don't work, hell no, you actually are allowed to try a right join, okay? And either of those three will give you what you're looking for at any time, okay? So it's not like a guesswork, but that's just the rationale and the sincere approach to it most times. If you run joins most times, please, who's listening to music? Okay, so that's all about joins basically.
Okay.
Do we have any other questions around joins?
I have a question.
Okay.
Does the syntax determine which one the program will take as left join or right join? Like
that's a very good question. Yes. If you are expecting to do a left join and you just right join to do an inner join for you. If you want the right join and you didn't write right join and you just left us, or you wrote left join, you won't get the right answer. You must put the right syntax.
Yes, no, what I mean is that as you put, like for example, you put right join orders. If you put, maybe you put, would that mean that the orders, like since you use the example of sets, let's say that the orders will be on the right side as the right sets, as the set on the right side?
Yes. You are telling to write join a particular table. Remember, this is what we are saying. Yes. You are saying write join this.
But if it was left join, if it's left join,
you're also telling it that I should put this on the left. You are giving it a command that either bring this person on the right or bring this person on the left. Okay? Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Excuse me.
Okay.
From what you just said now, but the order remain on the same column. But
now,
the order, it remains on the same column.
Yes, because remember, yesterday when we were talking about select clauses. Can you see this script here?
Yes.
Now, everything for order. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Everything that we've told you to do, order starts from where? From here. We didn't change it. This doesn't affect whether it's coming from, whether you are telling to put left or right. We're just creating this so that our table is meaningful, because if we put order ID first on the right-hand side here, okay, we put order ID here, we put shipping date here, and then name our first name. It's not like it won't work, okay? But then you also want your table that you generate to be meaningful, to be something that someone can read. So that's all this is. It's just about arranging your columns in a proper manner.
Well, excuse me, sir. Where do the right join and left join function comes in?
So basically, just like how I explained this for you, okay? You are telling it that it should pick whatever it can find in this intersection, with whatever it is here. Do you understand?
Yes.
Or you're telling it whatever it can find in the middle here,
Yes.
This is your union. Take it and take whatever is here.
Okay.
That's all. So how you now arrange the results of what you see?
Okay.
Depends
on
of
the
you.
arrangement of the table, yeah.
Arrangement of the table is now up to you. If you feel you don't get you feel okay, maybe it was the customer's table that you want to be last. You want the columns to be last. You can rearrange it. You still get your answers. You get, it doesn't change anything. It's just what you're expecting as your feedback that matters. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So before we go to our next topic, which is altering tables, let's quickly do some iterations. That is some other functions we didn't really talk about. So SQL, like every other language, you can do addition, subtraction, and multiplication. MySQL allows you to do that. And as a data analyst, it's going to be one of the things you have to do. One of your manipulation might be around either of this. So for example, I think we have, is it a customers table? Let me check. Let me see. I think there's a table here that has some digits. Yeah, points. Good. Okay. So we can do additions, we can do subtractions, we can do multiplications. So for example, customers, let's say we want to give all the customers that come from let me see, states. The states are quite okay. We can pick multiple states. Okay, these last three states here now, this FLG, CA, and GA. We want to give them additional 200 points, loyalty points, for whatever reason it is. We just want to give them. Okay, it's possible. You can also multiply on that. So let's say we say select okay, customer ID, first name, last name, state, then we say points. Okay, and we can say points plus 200. Okay, if we do this, okay, now we say we want to add those points to just these last three. Now let's go back. This is all, we're going to drag ourselves back to yesterday's class, where state in FL CA GA. Oh, sorry, I was supposed to add, not multiply. So let's add it. Remember, any figure is so big. Okay, good. Now we can see now it has added plus 200. So let's be sure that what we did is even correct. Let's name this as points, or let's say extra points. Okay. Points. So now let's run this. See what we have. Good. So we can see that this was the points they had before, and these are the new points. Okay. SQL allows you to do additions. Likewise, you can also do multiplications, divisions. You can even run a sum. Okay, you can run a sum and say you want to sum a particular column. Okay, so we can run a sum and say, we can say select sum of the points from the customers table yeah, let's even just pick these three states again. Want to see the sum of points from these three states. This is the sum of points from these three states. Okay, you can do sum. You can do you can have this, for example, again, and say you want to subtract 200 points from them. And you can see you can subtract 200 points. You can multiply. You can do a whole lot of those manipulations around. Once you have numerical values on your table, you can do that. You can also, for example, you get a data set and you don't even know how many rows you are dealing with. Someone just gives you that, okay, I have access to this DB. This is the table there. Please, let's know how many. What's the row count? Okay, it's a question. It's something like you also need it because especially when you are planning how you want to work on your script, sometimes you want to know how many rows you're dealing with. Or maybe you're running an ETL and you're like, okay, how many rows do I have? Is this thing correct? Someone says it's 1,000, it's 1,000,000 rows. But when time you run the script, you find that maybe something is missing. So you can do that. You can count the number of rows you have. Count all from these other items. What's the problem? Oh, sorry, I put the wrong name. It's other items, not others item. So you can see we have 18 rows. And I'm sure if it comes to other items and we count, I'm sure we have 18 rows. It's not counted, but if you run, let me see. Yeah, this one is not like. Let me see if it will tell us how many rows we have. You can see it returned 18 rows. So you can do that also. There's one last one that we're going to talk about. I'm just going to talk about it because I want everyone to go and read about it. I want to see all the answers on Slack. Let me see how well we can manipulate.
Hey,
Hello? Yeah.
Can you, when you wrote this syntax, select counts all from other tables, other items, can you write it other way? Like select other items select from other items, count all.
No. Remember that the queries follows a particular order. It's just like you saying you want to select all from a table. You now say select table all.
Exactly. That is the same question I was going to ask. Was on another this thing.
It
Row.
follows that order.
As in,
Select.
sir,
Okay.
what is the correct way to do the scripting? You know, like for example, select the earlier this thing you wrote, select some points from customers. What if we put it this other way? Select some of the points. You know, you put a point in brackets. I will say select some of the points from the customers. Is it correctly scripted like that? And are we going to have a good result? If no, how do we script?
I don't understand what you're saying. Please, just come back a bit. What I don't understand the question.
Maybe we should say, is there a kind of syntax, you know, like in maths, you do arithmetic, you use board mass. Is there some standard like that so that we know how
to correctly
script those things? Correctly write your syntax?
Yes.
Okay, so if you want to write a script, basically, for example, the select, just the same way I've been following the pattern. You are telling SQL, for example.
What is the pattern? What is the pattern?
Yes, I understand now. I understand better.
Thank you.
So remember, we said this select, you are telling SQL you want it to give you something. Okay. Now, what do you want SQL to give you? Okay. We want SQL to give us last name. Okay. From this is our query. Okay. We said SQL select the last name from the customers table. Right? So anytime you're writing any script in SQL, you have to first follow with the, for example, you select script now. You have to first tell SQL what you want. You are telling a general command, select this. Okay. When SQL is done, hello, one house, please. Okay. So when you tell SQL select this, SQL picks it up. Okay. You are now referencing what it is you want from that table, because remember, at the end of the day, you are telling it to give you something from a table. Okay, so you can't, it's wrong to say, okay, let's say you can't say select from X. You can't do this. Select from this table the last name. No. Yes, it doesn't work like that. You have to follow that order. You are telling it to select a particular value from that table. You are not saying that it's pick from that table, that particular value. So that's how it works. You can see all my scripts, I've always put select, and I tell you what I want from that particular table. Okay, the column. And that's why you have, then you now talk about the where.
Okay.
The where clause. Okay. So that's when you can now be a bit more specific on what you want. But your first line of code, you must tell SQL what you want from that table, because you are talking to a table.
Okay.
Are we on the same page?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, just a quick question. How can one see the structure of a table?
The structure of a table?
Yes.
I don't understand what you're saying. It's a table, it's rows and columns, just like this.
Yeah, I just meant maybe like you talked about customers, maybe the constituent elements of a table, right?
Yes. Now, so that's why you have your query. You can also come to your, these are tables here. This is a database. This is a schema. These are tables here.
I see.
So if you just right click and say select, sorry, wrong.
No, it's answered. I've seen the tables. Okay, structures.
Okay, you see all your tables. This is the table. This is what your table looks like.
All right.
So you can see select all from the customers.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So there's a standard process around that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So
no, on the issue of the table, there is a question I want to ask. But I do not want to ask it now because I'm feeling it because I missed yesterday's class. I wouldn't want to take us back.
Go ahead and ask it. Don't worry. Go ahead and ask the question.
Thank you. And the question is, all of the database we are working with, how is it being created and how do we come about the table? Is the table created separately that we now have to start working on it, on the query box here or what?
Okay. I think this particular question, I'm going to let the class answer you. So please, can someone please explain to her?
Okay, so first of all, after you create a database in SQL, the next thing for you to do is to create a table. So it is when you're creating a table that you have to look at the structure of what you want to be in the table. How many rows and columns you want it to be in the table. After you create those things, before you now start calling up, querying that table. For example, there was an assignment I was given last week. And in that, we're supposed to create a database. And from that, we have to create a table and we have an array of data to put in the table. Because after that table is created, then you can now start saying select and all those things to query that table. So what he has done here before is he has created a database and the tables are already in the database that we're now querying. But of course, it took us from last week on how to actually start from the beginning, creating all of these things.
Okay,
I hope I
thank
said
you.
something.
Yes.
Okay, your question has been answered, right?
Yes, to an extent. Thank you.
No problems. So I think we have the next set is altering tables, but it's going to take us a while. And I'm actually not going to be available next week because I'm going to be in training office things. So, and time has really gone right now. I thought we were going to be able to wrap that up, but no problems. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a video explaining how to alter tables and some other functions. I'll get the video across to you latest by this evening. I'll get the video across to you. So once you have that video, if there's anything that could be of question and all that, please chat me on Slack. Okay, I'll respond as fast as I can. If you have any, just send me a message on Slack. I'll take time to explain, even if it means me answering everybody one after the other. Because I can see the time's like past 2 right now. And I actually have, so I have an engagement. I'm supposed to be at the office right now doing some stuff. So that'll be all for today. I'll send this sheet like I did with yesterday's class. Also, if you have any questions, chat me up on Slack. Yeah, there was someone that actually asked me a question on Slack. I saw it this morning. Sorry about that. My schedule there is quite very, very tight these days. It's end of the year, so we're doing end of the year roundups, so it's kind of tight. Yes, this person asked this question.
It's sorted. I responded to you already. I've seen my error.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. I said I was going to bring it to the class, and I wanted someone to actually answer us what was wrong with the script. So please keep practicing. That is the best way you can learn. Keep practicing. If you have any questions, just leave it on Slack. If I don't have any, if you're lucky, I respond immediately. If not, don't worry. Once I see it, I'll respond.
I'm sorry. Please, what I have to ask is not about this. It's not on this that you just taught us. Please, this Slack thing that you're talking about, I don't think I'm on it.
Are you sure?
I don't know. Or how will I know I'm on it? I'm on the Slack. Let me
download the app.
The app?
Did you download the Slack app?
Oh, is there an app for it? I don't think I did.
There's an app for it that you can have on your phone, and you can also have the web version on your laptop. I'd advise you to get it on your phone so that if there's any message, you can just have the notification and you're fine.
Okay, please, can I get the link?
All right.
Or how did you even join the class in the first place?
Huh?
I said, how did the person join the class?
Okay, yeah. So didn't you get a message to join the class?
Yes, I did.
From where? Which platform?
I guess it's from. Oh, I think from my mail.
From your mail, okay.
Yes.
There is a platform where everybody is being addressed.
No, I think the Slack tool was sent to my mail for me to join. So you could
should
check your
access,
mail.
yes.
Check
Yeah,
your
so
mail.
join via that link that was sent to you.
Go and check your mail. Check your previous mail.
You can download the app so you get on the go notifications. And if you have any issues, you can also send, and immediately you get a response. Okay.
Okay.
So,
Right.
like I said yesterday, if you have any issues, okay, just leave it on the Slack channel, not necessarily directing to me or any of. You can just send to the other person. Someone might have done it, and you just get a faster answer than probably waiting for me. Okay, but nonetheless, even if it's not answered or it's been answered, I'll still check and give you a feedback. Don't mind, maybe it might take maybe a day or two. I'm sorry about that, but immediately, if I see it immediately and it's something I can attend to, why not? Okay, but if I answer it the next day, please understand that I'm just a bit tied down. So I'll ensure I try and get the video across to you guys this evening, hopefully this evening, because once I get to the office on my get a free time, I'll do a bit of recording for you, the last part of the class, and then I'll also hold some sheets for you, so you can study all this syntax better and see how well they work. So that'll be all for today. If there's no other question, do you have any other questions?
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, thank
what's
you
the
so much.
question? Let's have the question.
Okay, it's not so much of a question. I just want to ask that all of these syntax that we have, different operational. So, and I still believe that there's still so many more that one will still get to find out. I'm asking that, does it mean that someone has to memorize all of this? Or one will just open one book somewhere and be, well, maybe it's a funny question, but I just like to ask.
Okay, so yes, you're correct. There is a whole lot to do. There's a whole lot of math. This is just the tip of the iceberg, to be sincere. I'm not trying to scare you, but this tip of the iceberg is your foundation. If you have an idea of this, you can build on it. And like I said yesterday, and I said today, the more you practice, the more you are familiar with something. Okay, so it's not about you even memorizing it. The more you do it, the more you know, okay, if I need to do this, this is what I need. Then also, as an analyst, as an IT person, research is like, you and research are like 5 and 6. So aside this, there's a whole lot you can find online on YouTube, Slack over. I'll share them on Slack with you. There's some of those sites that you can get a whole lot that can help you. Even I myself, when I get stuck, because there are sometimes that you have to write some very complex queries. You have to do nested queries and advanced SQL, and you're stuck. You go online, you search. That's why you have that your community. Someone would have maybe read about it, okay, and practiced it, okay. You might never understand it, but I've read about it. And you put it on the Slack community, please, I'm having problem with this. Oh, I've also read it somewhere, but I don't understand. This is what it looks like. And then you read it and you understand better, okay. As an IT person, as a data analyst, you don't work in isolation. It doesn't work like that. It might work for any other sphere of life. But once you're in this IT circle, it's a hub. You are working with a team of people. Okay. Some you have physical connections with, some they are light years away. Okay. So don't be shy to ask questions, and don't be shy, don't be lazy to explore. Go online, check, ask. There was a particular intern we had in the office one time. She was very, very, very funny and curious. So anytime she had a problem on any of the on any of the platforms, she could write the whole question she wants to ask. It could be as much as 10 words, a whole full sentence. She doesn't mind. She pastes on Google. Okay, you'll be surprised. One of those searches will click, and then she will pick up something. So please, don't be shy to ask questions. Ask anybody. Even if you think you see the person as high up as high or as low, ask. You'll be surprised where the answers come from. So you don't necessarily have to cram it. I don't call it memorizing. I call it more of you being familiar with it. The more you do, the more you understand. So that's how it works. If you don't do more, you won't get more. So please, I'll leave today's sheet 2 again on Slack. I'll leave the database with you too, the tables with you too on Slack. Practice. Think of scenario questions. You can even go online, okay, and check for scenario practice questions. You see a whole lot of them. Practice, okay? Practice. When I'm done with the last class I'm going to share with you, I'll also leave your final labs on SQL. Okay, I'll leave your final labs. I won't be available next week, Saturday and Sunday. I have an official engagement Saturday and Sunday. So, but the upper week, hopefully, I should be back. So then we'll talk, because I'm supposed to also take you Power BI. So we'll continue, and the Power BI I'm going to work on is a bit of SQL and Excel, and then Power BI. So we have a very long time to spend together, but please ask questions, okay? And if you send me a message on Slack once and I don't respond, you can also disturb me reasonably, please. You can send a reminder that, please, sir, help me with this, please. Don't forget this, so that at least if I see the notification again, I might see it and I'm busy. So, but if I see it again, at least it helps me say, okay, this person needs my attention immediately. So please, let's do that. Please practice. And don't just leave SQL and forget Excel. As a data analyst, that won't work, okay? If you're in IT, it doesn't work, okay? You must know everything, like I said yesterday. You must know the bits of everything you need. So don't drop the Excel and say, we've been doing SQL, I've forgotten about it. You're going to need Excel. When you start doing SQL, or when you start doing Power BI, say, no, by leaving SQL, no, it doesn't work like that. Someone is going to come and take you Python, and you'll be surprised that you're going to do SQL. You're going to talk a bit about Power BI. You're going to talk about Excel in Python again. Okay, so that circle, you can't change it. So someone was asking about SATA yesterday. If you know a bit about SATA, you know that you can bring in CSVs into SATA. You can bring in Excel sheets into SATA. So that's exactly how it works. It's a circle, and there's a whole lot of things in the circle. So that's that for today. I'll see you guys upper week. Okay, so I'll drop your the other part of the class for you later today, hopefully. If I don't do it today, I'll do it first thing tomorrow morning. But you get your Slack. That's the extension of this class. Okay, so all right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Where does one get resources on Slack? Hello? Hello? Hello?